Yeah, it's cool.
I was watching a little bit.
Just stay loose, man.
But
just stay
watching it is a lot different than being involved. It's cool.
It's gonna go by like this, and you're gonna be like, "We're done."
Yeah, you're gonna say,
We're done.
You know, let's start talking about the kids who aren't ever talked about.
Exactly. Welcome to Jersey Matchat. This episode is sponsored by Beato Baits, 5-inch stick baits designed by a wrestler, built to win. With a range of color options and a perfect sink rate, these things will get bites when nothing else will. And don't miss the mystery color, made from leftover plastic each week, melted down and molded into one-of-a-kind baits. No two are the same, but they all catch. Perfected for anglers who just want to catch more fish. So, if you're grinding on the mat, take that same energy to the water. Beato Baits, B-E-A-T-O. Tough to beat, easy to fish. Check for the link in the description of this episode, or you can find them on Etsy.
All right, what's up, everybody? I'm Justin Bonatatis, doing this episode on the Matchat. Pete and Doug are on vacation this week, so I had my college teammate, Brian Bolette, join us here.
Where did they go? Kingsburg again?
Yeah, that's where they're spending the week. Really kicking back and relaxing. I have my college teammate, Brian Bolette, doing this episode with us, and we're here with two tremendous referees, legendary, Vinny Russo and Gary Wade. And we're just pretty much going to chop it up, talk a little bit about wrestling, officiating, the different perspectives in both those things. Just have a fun time here. Go ahead, Bri.
It's on me now.
What do you got, buddy?
All right. So we'll just jump right in on the questions.
Yeah, I mean, we can start it up.
Sure. All right. So let's start with some of the new rules and stuff. So with the new recent rule changes, what do you think's had the biggest impact, and how do you approach explaining some of these changes to coaches and athletes?
Well, the biggest impact, I think, was the 3-point takedown, because there's a lot of takedown artists out there that take it down, let you go, and instead of being a 1-point difference, a 2-1 score, now it's a 3-1 score, a 6-2 score. And we noticed in the state tournament this year, it was a half an hour to 45 minutes ahead of schedule because all the tech falls in the first period.
Right? Yeah.
First period tech falls, which was nice because, you know, I hate to say it this way, you want to get some of those matches out of the way that are not competitive to that point. So it worked out, in my opinion, very well.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I think every one of the rule changes that they did last year to coincide what's going on at the NCAA level, I think it's awesome for the athletes because they're able to experience, you know, they're able to pop right into it, knowing what to expect with the way the point system is, even with the near fall. And to me, you know, when they make these rule changes, it's more to, you know, promote scoring in wrestling.
Yeah, action. They want action, right?
Because wrestling can be a little boring, right? And I know it hurts when we say that because we love the sport, but it can be. Yeah. So when they're putting points on the board, it's more exciting.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
I think that the step that they made to do that was tremendous, you know, and especially to coincide with what's going on at the NCAA level.
Yeah, I think that point alone is important to keep in mind, is that if they're doing that at the NCAA level in college, and these high school athletes' aspirations are to compete at that level, the sooner you get them familiar with that scoring system, the better they're going to do there, and the more comfortable they'll be there.
Absolutely. It definitely works. Yeah. It's a benefit to everybody involved.
Yeah. I mean, think about that tech fall thing, because that was one of the things that we discussed a little bit as well, because there is a lot more tech falls now with the 3-point takedown, the different near falls. Should that tech fall be a larger gap, or we're okay with it being at 15?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it as well.
Yeah. I mean, some matches are just boom, boom, but like to what you said is accurate. It depends on the competitiveness of the match.
Correct. And
you'll laugh, though. I talk about it like when it first went to the NCAA level, I was actually having a hard time counting things.
Yeah, it's different.
Like, I'm like, oh, shoot, like the counting is way off now. So there'd be times when I'm looking and I'm like, oh, shoot, a takedown here actually ends it. But, you know, it just, you know, your train of thought, you're thinking out on the mat, it just made you feel a little, you know, a little bit more in tune. You're out there with the abacus trying to add things up, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
man.
It just, you know,
I mean,
it's
habitual,
awesome.
those points have been that same way for a pretty large amount of years.
It is.
A long time.
I wrestled in 78, and they were there.
So for
2-point takedown was there in 78.
So for our officials and even the coaches,
well, a lot of officials, when it first came out, that rule change for a 3-point takedown would still put up 2.
Yeah.
And then we yell 2.
I mean, I'm yelling 2 sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, now
the crowd yells 2.
Now
That's the best when the crowd's still yelling.
Made the adjustments.
That's I know for us as coaches, we've had to make a little bit of an adjustment. I'm sure you guys saw a little bit this year, more people taking top, trying to get more points that way. It kind of, as coaches, usually you don't pick top, right? So
yeah, that strategic thing for you guys as coaches,
that's
really
the fun
got
part
to
of it,
probably,
right?
you know,
of course. I mean, kids that are good on top, if that's one of their stronger positions, then now they can widen that gap.
Yeah.
If they can turn a guy.
And they're not afraid to take top. That's the best part about it.
Yeah, I mean,
before it was not even a decision. You take bottom.
Yeah.
Now you see them taking top because they're comfortable with it now because they're giving up 1 but getting back 3 if he escapes.
Yeah, if you're good on your feet and you're comfortable
Correct.
on your feet.
Why not go
Worst
for a
case
fall or
worst
go
case
for a,
scenario here.
Some backs.
One of the funniest thing is when you see at the college level where a guy just rode somebody, or you had a guy that it's his choice, and he says top, and I immediately go, oh boy.
Yeah.
Because he's going to hammer him on top.
Yeah.
And he's confident that he's going to be able to keep. And you can see the breath leave the body of the other wrestler.
Yeah.
And the other guy takes top because he knows he's going to get hammered.
Yeah, there's those momentums and matches,
Yes.
and that's
Yeah.
at one of
That's
those
an
points.
intimidating choice.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
you think with some of the rules we've adopted at the high school level that there's more college rules we could adopt, or is
Well,
this
the
kind
big
of
one
where we
is
should-
obviously riding time.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one.
You know what I'm saying? That's the only one I think that really would be a concern for fans. But in my opinion, when I wrestled, we had riding time, and it did promote a more boring match.
I was just going to say that would lead to more issues with stalling.
Correct.
And that's got to be a topic.
Well, you
that
couldn't
the-
call it.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the strategic part of it is too, right? Like, if you want to get that point. I think the biggest rule change that could be, I know you talked about the riding time. I actually think the college out of bounds should be adopted.
Yeah, I
mean,
love
it just makes it,
It's the best wrestling.
It's
where some of the best wrestling takes place.
It makes it more clean. You know what I mean? The cylinder, whatever happens in the cylinder, doesn't have to be on the mat. Like say this is the out of bounds. If I'm even over and there's a shadow over, we're in bounds. You know, and to me, like that's where most of the best wrestling.
I don't disagree at all in that situation.
So on that note, from a coach's perspective, I know with the high school and college rules out of bounds, sometimes we end up in a situation where, say, he's on top, right, and I'm on bottom, and we're kind of on that line, but we're still in bounds. We have, in certain cases, there's certain officials that'll call stalemate there or blow you out of bounds, and then other guys will let you wrestle. What do you think is?
So I can tell you what's going to go on, and a lot of the officials aren't going to like what I'm about to say. They're afraid to make the call.
Well,
Yeah.
the line is a wrestling official's enemy.
Yep.
That's their enemy. What's the best way to avoid your enemy? You avoid the line.
Yeah.
So when they go near the line, you blow them out, you stale it, and you start again because
keeps
they
them
don't
out
want
of
that
trouble.
call on the line.
Gotcha.
That's what gets the referee in trouble.
That drives me wild, by the way, because we're out there to let them wrestle. So let's let them wrestle. Same thing I see with awesome scrambles going on. I don't like to call stalemates. And I'll even say it in my pre-meet. Listen, you guys keep wrestling until I blow the
Yeah, I
whistle.
think that's an important
I
thing.
love
to highlight.
stalemates. Like as long as you're improving, I want to see somebody score just like you guys want to see
A
somebody
lot
score.
of points are scored on the line.
For sure.
I think as you get to the state tournament, you guys would know the answer to this, but you get to the state tournament, a lot of points are scored on the edge of the mat.
Yeah.
A lot of points are
Absolutely.
scored in scrambles. So those higher level matches,
Yeah.
It's very
you got to
important.
let the kids wrestle a little bit.
I can notice the different class of wrestling, like guys that want to go out of bounds, right, is always going to get crushed by the guy that wants to score points at that out of bounds line.
Yeah.
They want to take a break.
I mean, you're right. There's
Yeah.
two sides to that coin, right? I mean, there are some kids who kind of shut
Somebody's
off.
fighting to
Yep.
get out.
Shut off and are hoping that this ref hits me with this whistle, blows us out.
Yep.
We start back in the center. I get some space. And then there are other kids that are like, he's vulnerable.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to keep my foot in the gas and go score here.
And you guys know, you wrestled at a high class. Like, you're smart people, right? Wrestlers are smart people. So, the wrestlers are going to get away with as long as the ref
Yeah,
allows
allows
them.
them. Yeah, it's the way of life.
You guys are
man.
going to test it.
Yeah, despite what we talk about, that's a way of life.
Yeah.
A lot of humans push
And
the
that's what
envelope
makes
until you can't push
good
the
coach,
envelope.
A great coach, a coach that can pick apart a referee without being verbal about it,
Yeah.
but getting points. Coaches can steal points that way.
Yeah. Well, we're humans, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
what's the name of the game.
I remember there
No,
was a
it's
coach. He was the West Essex High School head coach, and he said when he had a new referee in his gym, the first couple matches, he would yell, "My kid is stolen, hit him," and that made the referee like that coach tremendously.
Well done by that coach.
So now, all of a sudden, he's hitting the other team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Psychological warfare. You understand?
That's
You
it.
got to write that down.
That's
Yeah,
what it
I do.
is.
I enjoyed that.
You-
That's a
you
good little.
You just gave a lot of
You
info.
tell
there.
the referee that you've never seen before, hit my guy, he stole. That's all you got to say. You got a friend for life there.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of our topics on tonight that we discussed that we wanted to talk to you guys about was officiating relationships with coaches.
Yeah.
How are they right now currently? Are they better than they were in the past?
Oh, they're much better.
Yeah.
Reason why I run a clinic, we've spoken about this before in a few previous podcasts. I run a clinic at Rutgers and all the coaches in New Jersey are invited there. So the relationship has gotten much better over the last 10 years,
Yeah, I
5
just feel
years.
like that's
Every year
so
it's getting
important.
better.
I just feel like that's so important.
Oh, absolutely.
It's something that I think has gotten better in my 18 years involved in the sport. And before officiating, this is my 18th year officiating, I was a coach. And I remember when I was a coach, there was no relationships with the officials.
Yeah.
Like, it actually was a love-hate thing, you know.
It was more hate, Gary.
You know, I'm being,
A lot
I'm,
less love.
I'm trying to be kind with it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, a lot
at this
less
point, it's like, you know, I have a great rapport with a lot of coaches that I give them my number, call me, send me a video.
Yeah.
Ask me questions, you know, and I get it from a lot of guys in South Jersey area. I get some North Jersey guys, but collegiately, there's a lot of high power coaches that will reach out.
Yeah.
You know, they'll send me a clip.
I mean, you're going to deliver the knowledge or the perspective or the insight that they're looking for, whether it's 100% accurate or not.
Right.
It's good to have an understanding of what you're seeing as an official in those
And
moments.
that's what the coach wants to know.
Yeah, and that's what a good coach.
That's how a coach coaches
But
his kids.
it's how you communicate that, right?
Correct.
That's the problem. And I'm sure that's where you guys run into the issues where, you know, not necessarily a coach is being too aggressive. It's really just the way you're communicating it or how you go about things.
Well, that's where
because you coach with passion, right? That's
Yeah.
what we do things. We do things that we love passionately. And coaches, a lot of times, whether you are an aggressive human being outside of coaching, during coaching, that switch flips. And if the call's not going your way, you find yourself, you know, yelling at the referee. And I think it's important, like you mentioned, having rapport where you can talk and communicate with
Absolutely.
those coaches to make sure they understand, even if you can't handle it in that moment. You know, if the tournament's over or the day's winding down and there was a questionable call, just to feel comfortable enough to go over to a ref and say, listen, this happened earlier in today. I just want to get your perspective on what happened here.
Every coach in the business should feel comfortable being able to do that.
I agree.
Right. And I know when you first come in and start coaching, you know, you're piss and vinegar.
Yeah.
You want to yell and scream.
for sure.
I just look at it like this. There's younger guys. I try to explain to them, listen, like, you're going to coach for a long time. I'm going to officiate for a long time. So we're going to have a business relationship for a long time,
Regardless.
whether you like it or not.
Regardless.
Right? You know, you can have a non-preferred list. I can have a non-preferred list. Right. So, but with that being said, like, you have to understand, like, and I always ask them, what's your profession? And most of them are teachers. And I said, yeah, you have to come in and think, like, if I'm coming to your classroom and I'm just screaming and hollering at you while you're trying to do your job,
Yeah.
it's not a real good way to start off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Agree.
you know, so after I do that, it kind of quells them a little bit. And we always seem to have a different relationship after that, which is good because that's what I want.
That's a good point, Gary.
You know, but a lot of guys take it good, but some take it bad. Like, I'm trying to call them out on, I'm just trying to help you. You know what I mean? Like, because I remember being there. To me, I didn't really yell at officials because the call's not going to change.
Yeah.
It's not going to change.
People, fans, coaches don't realize the extent of the passion a referee has towards
Yeah,
wrestling.
I can believe it.
They
I
don't
can,
have any
I can
idea.
respect that. Yeah.
We call after a match. We call each other, discuss every call.
That leads into one of our good topics
Does
here.
it?
Yes, it
Yeah.
absolutely does.
All right,
But you're right. But you're absolutely right. I mean, this is something
We love it.
you love it. I don't
do.
know. You know, that was something we were supposed to start off with, Bri, but we kind of jumped around a little bit. But you know, what led you into being a referee? How much has that passion grown since you started doing this?
I'll tell you
And
where I
yeah,
started.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a part I think that's important for us to get to.
Perfect. I coached at West Essex Regional, the freshman team, for 3 years. And my brother Guy, who wrestled for West Essex, was on that team in the high school level. And I would be on the bench for the high school matches. And a referee by the name of Ernie Zuber was the referee. And when you talk about controlling a match, controlling the bench, controlling the coaches as a referee in a very, very humble, professional manner, Ernie had that ability.
Yeah.
I saw that. I gravitated to it.
Amen.
I loved it. I said, I'm not in the right place being a coach. My spot is being a wrestling official. And that's what made me switch
I love that
over.
story. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Flip side of that, I didn't like officials.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, I didn't like
Well,
officials.
anybody, but that's
And as a coach, I didn't like
that's a
officials.
real answer,
I
man.
really
Yeah,
didn't.
for sure,
And
for
as
sure.
a wrestler, I remember losing matches, and I know they say don't leave it in the referee's hands, but there was plenty of matches that I had that I lost that were left in the referee's hands.
Yeah.
And the call was not right, you know. So then when I was coaching, I decided to get out of coaching, and my coach that I was coaching with was my youth coach and high school coach, a guy named Bill Lucas, was also an official. He's like, dude, you should try officiating. I'm like, no way. I didn't have the temperament for it.
Yeah.
And then I tried it, And man, I'll tell you what, I never did a drug in my life. That's my dopamine, man.
Yeah, I get it.
Officiating a wrestling match is unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be an adrenaline rush. I mean, you were literally involved in every piece
Justin,
of that match.
You have no idea.
Yeah,
And the passion part of it,
Unbelievable.
the passion part of it is like what he says. You make a bad call, man, it's not a good feeling.
Oh, you
Yeah,
live with
so
it.
that was the that was
Not
that
a
was
good feeling. I've had many
curious about that.
many a sleepless
Yeah.
nights.
I'm going to give you a good story on that. I refereed a match in the state finals. No, sorry, state semifinals. And it was Ryan Bridge versus Ivan Wiggins.
Oh,
Yeah.
wild match.
That's a wild match. Yeah.
Went to OT, I
His
believe.
headgear still at the top of the board.
Yeah,
Exactly.
wild
Gammy
match, man.
Sterling. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A
Scrap.
wild match. And there was a takedown that I did not give on the line to win the match. I believe it was overtime
Okay,
for Wiggins.
Hmm.
The entire crowd
let you know. Yeah,
let me know it was but 5 years it took me. But 5 years later, I went to a customer's house and his son was the state champ. Bernaldi, remember Jerry
Yeah,
Bernaldi?
yeah.
I was at their house and he goes, "Oh, I got some tapes. You want to see some matches?" He goes, "I got one match. The referee really blew the call."
No, no, dude.
And he puts on Wiggins' bridge.
Yeah.
And Wiggins' toe was out of bounds by a half inch.
Wow.
And that's what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the right call. Nobody knows it.
Yeah.
I know it. Even Mr. Rinaldi didn't
Did you know it prior to seeing that match film again?
No, when I went off the... That's a good question,
Yeah.
Justin. When I left the mat, we had a lot of heavy-hitting referees back then. Sherman, Longo, Dragon, Kessel.
Yeah,
They're all
I
on the
remember all those
sidelines
names.
there. And I go, "Was he out?" And he said, "Vinny, I don't think he was out.
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
think he was in."
It's
I
tough,
drove
man.
home. I'll never forget that day driving home from AC. I was almost in tears.
No, I
That's
believe
how
it.
it affected me for months. It affected me. I don't want to see the wrong kid win.
Right.
I don't
No.
want to see the right kid lose.
No,
Yeah, I
that's a
don't
good
wanna see that.
insight.
Think about the drives home, right? Think about the plane rides home
Yeah,
There you go.
when you're sitting in an airport.
yeah, man.
And then you're going back and you're looking at it.
Yeah, good point.
And then you're like, damn, now I,
mean,
got to take a
yeah.
3-hour flight home.
Yeah.
And then you're
Well,
driving.
nowadays you can watch it on your phone.
You
right?
can,
Like
yeah.
you probably weren't able to
No.
watch any of
Yeah.
that stuff, right?
No, nothing.
And unfortunately, that's not the answer that we want you to feel, but that's what we wanted to hear from you guys.
We're
That's what
human.
I mean, like, that's
We're human, man.
exactly,
It's
like,
unanimous.
We are
because
human.
as coaches, we do it all the time. You know, we have a dual meet where we make a move that doesn't necessarily work out to our favor, or in between periods, we choose a position that doesn't necessarily work out for the
Right.
better of that individual kid, and that eats us up.
Of
And,
course.
and you want to think that the referee, after having not a bad night, but maybe a couple questionable calls, goes home and reflects and
Oh,
figures
100%.
out
We do.
figures out how to get better. But I think it's
Immensely.
important that you talked about that the way you both did, and I know that that's genuine.
Oh, it's
and
genuine.
I think that
because
that's
it's all referees. It's not just
I know.
us.
I think that helps give a little bit more of an insight. Like this is a pressure job. Don't get me wrong. It's the job. Wrestling matches can't take place without you. So we can have a good wrestling team, and he can have a good wrestling team, and we're both going to be good coaches. But someone's going to have to run the ship a little bit here.
Yep.
And I think that's a fine line with guys that do it in a state of mind of this isn't our show, but we're a giant part to this show working. Because there are some refs out there that try and make it a little bit too much about them,
Themselves, yep.
and that's not either one of you two. And I think that this is a good opportunity for us to verbalize those things and
you,
the
Justin.
importance
Yeah.
of it. So
Yeah,
Very nice.
appreciate
yeah,
that.
it's the truth. I mean, it's a tough job, man. I mean, I know from my coaching seat when I sit back and think about dual meets, it's passion, like
Well,
you
you know what
said.
the difference is, Justin, between wrestling and every other sport? In football, the crowd's in the stands, 200 feet away from the field.
Yeah.
In wrestling, the mat's 3 feet
Yeah.
from the stands. These
Yeah.
people know your name. They know where you live. They know
Yeah.
everything about the
Yeah.
referee.
Yeah.
And they're yelling your name like they want to kill you.
Yeah, man.
Well, you guys get to experience a little bit of that stress part of it, right? Because when you get that hot wrestle off,
Of
right?
course, man. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I know-
don't like to do wrestle offs
Yeah,
anymore.
so-
I got to
I
get
hate
refs to do it.
that's
man.
where I know. Like when I get the call from certain coaches, they'll be like, "Got a hot one." Okay,
Yeah.
well, tell me when and where, because they were like, "We don't want to have anything to do with this."
Yeah, it's tough, man.
You know.
Well, yeah, and the
tough.
current way of high school sports with parents,
Yeah,
they're almost
exactly.
better off
I mean,
getting
Yeah.
Not to beat
getting
around the
somebody to
bush, but
come
yeah,
in.
absolutely
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And assign a lot of schools.
in certain situations.
You have to.
Yeah.
You want to take
Yeah.
yourself out of that picture.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also an important thing, and I think it's great that you both answered it the way you did, is that coaches need to understand that we can communicate with you guys.
Yeah.
100%.
It may
Yes.
not be in the middle of that individual match unless you go about approaching the table the correct way.
Yep.
But, it's important to know that
Referees want to rapport with the coaches.
the bottom line is this is our product. right? You're
Correct.
involved in making this product, and so are we. We want the product to be consistent, and we want to know what we're getting ourselves into while we're in it. And I think, that's obviously one of the toughest things about being an official or a ref is just that there are calls that have a lot of,
Impact.
impact to the dual meet, to the thing. And
I try to explain it to, so I teach cadets in South Jersey for the Southern Shore and Southern chapters, the new officials that come in. And I try to explain to them, like, Justin has his name on his program, right? And your program has what? You have a wins and loss record, right? So that's something to be proud of.
Okay.
So
It's a direct reflection on Justin.
a direct reflection on Justin's program, Justin's school. So to go out there and be nonchalant and not be a professional, not be on your A game,
amen.
not study the book,
Yeah.
you are doing a service to Justin and his program.
And to our sport, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big picture stuff. Like,
You have a name on it.
to our sport of wrestling, and we're trying to continuously grow our sport, which I think New Jersey is doing a great job of doing right now with
Absolutely.
all the things that we're doing. But that's what we're looking to do.
We got room for improvement.
Of course, and that's everything in life, right? I mean, there's always a new
can
day.
always improve.
There's a new day tomorrow. 24 hours brings a new day, and
Yeah.
there's got to be ways to get better at what you do, despite whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah, I know Vinny and I talked aside from, we were super excited about this segment.
Yeah, us too.
Like to have
us
two,
too, man.
and I know Justin. I never met you, Brian. So it was awesome. I'm like, cool. I get to meet another coach, get another rapport with him. I think it's great. You know?
And just to dive into each other's brains a little bit about our biggest passion. And
Correct.
Yeah.
that's wrestling. Like,
Absolutely.
And
one of our biggest passions.
And it's not. It doesn't have to be controversial.
No,
We're here to learn.
Yeah.
Like bounce things off of one another.
Yeah.
Get in each other's mens rea or our brains. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I enjoy part of wrestling tournaments. You're there all day. Your kids are gonna have rounds where you got a bunch of kids and rounds you don't. But just in general, talking to other officials at tournaments, one of my favorite things to do, just pick their brain on, hey, what'd you think about this situation or that situation? I think the more dialogue, the
Plus,
better.
It educates you
right?
as a coach too.
Yes,
Exactly,
absolutely, 100%.
exactly. Yeah, and you want to know what's being, like coaches that have competed together, like Brian and I, right? We were in the same college team, same college room, trained a certain way. We have a certain love for one another based off that. But you guys are officiating. There has to be a brotherhood amongst each other. There has to be some cohesiveness in
Gigantic.
There is.
So it's important to understand that there's a way to go about things and there's a way not. If you piss off one referee, if you go after one guy, I'm not going to ask you about the unloaded story here on us, but I'm sure
No, it doesn't.
I'm sure those things get talked about.
No, it doesn't.
though. No, they don't get talked about.
It really doesn't.
No, not in my circle.
That's
North Jersey.
great. That's
Not
good
my
news.
circle either.
That's good news.
It's good news for you, yeah.
Good news for
Good news
Brian.
for you, Brian.
It's good news for
Not
me.
for
that's
me,
right.
man. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be nice.
It really doesn't.
Yeah, we don't-
Each
don't-
match is individual, so to
Yeah,
say.
that's
We don't
good,
have a
man.
target set up with.
No,
we
no.
That's good to know.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
chance in the world.
Because
that the
honestly,
ref
I'm
goes
sure
into-
he was similar to myself when I first started. You're a young guy, come out of
Yeah, well,
college.
that was-
you're gonna say things in a certain tone
Yeah.
that's really not
Yeah.
appropriate. But
Correct.
as you grow up,
You
I
learn,
feel like
you
you
mature.
get a better relationship.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
we've all probably said
Listen,
something.
You figure
said
out
some
want the
things.
way and way not to.
referees not approval, and I'm not sure the right word is friendship, but you want to be on the same wavelength as a referee.
Yeah,
That's
man.
good for the
100%.
match.
Yeah, man.
You don't want to have this.
Yeah.
No.
This doesn't do anything for the match.
No.
You want this.
Yeah.
Make it continuity for all the coaches and the refs.
I think the key word would just be the one word that I think of is like, you don't have to like me, right? But you got to respect me,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And the same
Yeah.
goes for an official to a coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got to respect one another. And once we have that common ground
Agreed.
of understanding that, I'm here to respect you, you're here to respect me, should be able to get along and be fine with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you're taking a lot of alpha type mindset individuals.
That's a sport.
And you know what I mean? That's the sport of wrestling. And you're asking them to follow the guidelines and a certain set of rules. And then there's one guy making those calls, and then the other guys who are coaching have to either see it the same way or not. So reactions are going to happen. Don't get me wrong. But you got to be able to be man enough to know when you're wrong, apologize if necessary. I'm sure those things have happened in
That's
Brian's
always
coaching career. It definitely
That's
happened in
always
mine.
the best feeling when you make a call and you know it was right.
Yeah.
And then the coach finally goes away and clears his brain and maybe looks at it. And then they come back 20 minutes later. Hey, you nailed that call.
Yeah.
Sorry, I gave you a hard time.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah, and the opposite, right? Like
Yeah.
you had mentioned too before in a dual meet when we were, just talking a couple of minutes. Like if you were to tell a guy, hey, listen, that one's on me.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
as a
definitely.
coach, that makes you realize,
Yeah.
Coach
this
will
guy's
admire
locked.
that.
This guy's locked in. He
Yep.
cares. Like he's not just out here going through the motions.
yeah. So just to give you a little bit, because we talked about this before we came out. If you miss if I've missed a call and I know I missed it, you can't call something you don't see, right? But if you miss it, you miss it. I'll go around and say to that coach right away, hey, I missed that one.
Yeah, and I can just respect that, man.
Yeah.
Like,
That goes a lot.
And I
long
know
way
that immediately
for us,
puts
for sure.
both of us in a different
in a different state of mind.
feel.
Yeah, different
Well, because
state
it's
of
not going to
mind.
compound. I'm not going to stay pissed about that call.
Right. Yeah, I can
and all
move
of a sudden
on.
there's another
Yeah.
call, and it's just
That's very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, you can make peace easier.
So we've been talking for a little bit leading up to this about big dual meets, and a lot of times we get into big dual meets, whether it's our rival
Yeah, I love
schools,
this
section
topic.
finals,
best.
whatever it is.
This is good,
We
though.
got two officials, right? We wanted to get your guys' perspective on. You enjoy alternating matches? Would you rather have a 7-7 split? Would you rather have a one head official
Yeah,
and
one
one
assistant.
assistant?
I'm going to deviate from that question just for a minute.
Sure.
The problem I have as the assigner is to get two compatible officials work together. Okay?
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
Okay.
Because there's a handful in
Yeah.
this day and age
No, I get it.
of referees who call stalling
Right.
Yeah.
prolifically. A handful. There used to be a lot more back in the 80s and 90s. Nowadays, there are not many guys who call stalling at a high pace. If I have 5 or 10 of those guys, now who do I pair them with? Because one might live in North Jersey, one might live in South Jersey.
Yeah.
Now I have a
Right.
problem. So that's where I have a little gap to fill.
That's where
Right.
it's a challenge for you as
Big
far-
challenge.
Yeah.
And that's part of our challenge as a coach is to understand that, right? When we have a big duel, we get that. We get one guy
Where they're
who might
alternating.
have a different perspective
Yeah.
on stalling than the next guy.
And just to slow it down even more, you just get it's a different change of pace every match. You one guy who's vocal. One guy who's vocal and very energetic and lets the kids know when they're getting close to the out of bounds line, and one guy who just blows his whistle 3 seconds after they're already out.
Right.
So every other match in a big dual setting, like we were talking about in like a section final or group final or even a division title match, say, to switch officials every match, at least from our perspective as coaches, it's tough. It's a tough thing to.
I would completely agree with you guys. So on the coaching side of it, I've gone and I've given them the opportunity. Do you want one guy calling it or do you want an alternative? And most of the time, the coaches say, I want one guy calling it.
Yeah.
Because they know what they're going to expect.
Yeah.
for
And not even
for
if that
every
guy's
class.
necessarily a lot better yet.
Wait,
We just
hold
gives
on a
us-
second. You're saying one guy calling 14 bouts?
Yes.
Well, the problem that I have again as an assigner.
Yeah.
Where am I going to find if there's 100 matches going on
Yeah.
Wednesday?
Right.
Where am I finding 100 guys who are going to be the assistant?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you doing that?
No, I get what you're saying.
yeah.
No, this is why it's a cool
You're gonna be
topic.
the assistant.
Yeah, this is why it's a cool
And go to a
topic.
hot match and not,
right.
not blow your
Well, it's
whistle?
only going to
Well,
be
that-
in a hot match.
that-
It's
Yeah.
only going to
Yeah.
be in that.
That's though you got to put
Yeah.
your ego aside. If one guy's asked to call it, then the other guy's got to put his ego aside.
Yeah.
And
It's
he
real.
has a job to do as the outside official.
Yeah.
Right?
Sounds easy.
It
sounds
does.
easy.
It does.
We-
But if you
Sounds
don't,
easy.
but if you
Not
don't have an
easy.
ego, it is
Not
very
easy.
easy.
In the NCAAs, is it just one guy?
So in the NCAA, they've
and then
signed
there's an
one guy
assistant?
a few times this year. There's another official and I, and we went. This was actually I'll give you the location. It was at Drexel. I normally don't like naming places we go. So we went and we said, hey, listen, got both of us here. You guys want one official calling it, or do you want us to alternate? And they were like, we're fine with either one of you guys, so just alternate. But we also have had them guys multiple times. The other guy I was with was also a Division I national finals guy.
Yeah.
So they knew what to expect. I'm not sure they would have given us the same answer if it was two dudes
Yeah, they
weren't-
didn't know.
that didn't have
Yeah.
rapport
Right,
with.
right.
I think it's a cool topic.
At the college level, though, they don't like doing it. They like to keep the one guy.
Yeah, I feel like as an official too. I mean, you can attest. You both can attest to this. There's got to be just like when you're a wrestler and you're in the practice room. The first 10, 15 minutes, you're loosening up your body, man.
Yes.
You're getting ready to roll.
Yes.
Whether you're going hard or not, your body's still getting in the gear.
Yep.
As an official, I would assume the first match of the night out the gate, you're not as sharp between the ears nor as loose with the body as you would be by match 3 or 4.
Well, I'm glad that you understand that. Or I'm glad you understand that. Because I remember even at the start of the year, like, I remember a first duel I had started 2 years ago. It was rough the first couple of matches.
Yeah.
I'm being honest with you. And
Yeah,
I'm
man, I
like,
get it.
and then the coach at the break is like, blah, 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 give me a hard time. I'm like, hey, coach, is this your wrestler's first match of the year? And he goes, well, yeah. I said, it's my first match of the year.
Yeah.
I think I got to warm up too.
Yeah.
And as soon as I said that, it put him at a different level, right?
Puts him into perspective, man.
And again, I was off my game, right? And I understood that and was able to fix it, and realize that, you know what I mean? But when I said it to him in that kind of level, to put it in that perspective, he completely understood.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. I mean, that's a great way to handle it.
Yeah.
When you're involved in a hot dual meet, a P-Bird Kittentini,
bring him back to the memories, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Bring him back.
Back
Would
to
you
the
please
memories.
bring him back?
That's
He
right.
needs this.
That's right.
He needs
when
this.
you're involved in a hot dual meet,
Nothing better.
and there's 2 officials, but you alternate. Now all of a sudden I go first, 106, overtime. Partner goes second, 113, a 20-second pin.
Yeah, you always get the overtime.
I'm like, come on, man.
That's with
Now
me
I gotta
too.
go right back. Next match, 9-8.
Yeah.
Barn burner. He goes up, forfeit. Okay, he goes again, 25-second pin. I'm back up again.
Yeah.
That's where it gets difficult.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Then wouldn't you also agree that not having going maybe 7 in a row would be better for you as an official too, or no?
No.
Nah,
Tell me the positives of going alternate after one.
You're fresher.
Okay.
So,
So whether it's
Mentally, mentally, physically.
Okay.
yeah, I'll give you the brain part about
I get
it.
you. I like that. I like the
A lot
answer.
of referees, hold on one second.
No,
a
I
lot
like
of
it.
referees are on the older side.
Yeah.
You know, the better referees, of course, with experience, they're not 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
They're 60. They're 65. And you need a break.
I get it. I got it.
You know
I got you. Yeah,
I'll
man.
spin
There's
off
a
of
lot
that.
of components in here.
That's why I'm
You know what I'm
asking.
saying?
Yeah.
The
that you
spin
don't
off of that
think
is, I
about.
think one of your questions was, do you like duels or do you like tournaments?
Yeah.
I like tournaments.
Yeah.
You want to know why? I'm able to get off the mat, recollect my feelings,
Yeah.
and my brain, and then get back on a match. You feel like you're
Decompress and go right
fresh.
back,
You
yeah.
feel like you're fresh,
Yeah.
right?
That's
You
a
know,
good word.
to be out there for 10 straight matches in a row in a college duel, it's a grind.
Yeah, dude, I would imagine, man.
And
You're
then if they-
wrestling.
and then if they don't have that 15-minute break and it's
You're
just straight
wrestling.
through, that's a grind.
Yeah, man.
That's a grind. Same thing with a high school duel. Is it 14 weight classes?
Yeah, 14. Yeah.
Yeah, all 14 in a row. That's a grind, man.
Yeah.
That's a grind.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I think they're good
Mentally
answers,
and
man.
physically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the mental part for us, regardless, is always more tiring than the physical, right?
Yeah,
For
sure.
And especially for officials,
Even as a
I can.
wrestler.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I can imagine.
Please,
Like,
the tougher part is mental.
you make 10 good calls in one match. You're like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Raise the hand. Let's do it again. Yeah, I would assume that gets tiresome.
No, it does.
So on that point, you guys have like a most memorable or favorite gym or venue to be at for a big high school duel?
I know you got it. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I got a few good
He's
ones.
chomping. Yeah.
Well, there's
Come on.
2 different scenes, let's call it. There's a high school scene, and then there's the national high school level scene. Okay? You want the national level high school scene, you do a Blair match versus St. Paris Graham, Wyoming Seminary.
Yeah.
You do one of those matches, I'll give you a good story. So, the Blair ride. Myself and Roy Dragon are doing Blair, Wyoming Seminary 1 versus 2.
Wait,
Blair was
what
one.
year? What year are we talking?
10 years ago.
Okay.
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seeing if I knew any names on the teams, but yep.
Yeah, you know, Mark Ray was on the
Oh yeah,
team.
absolutely.
McKenna.
I was going to say
Believe it or not.
Moses. No, just kidding.
So, the coach from St. Paris Graham gets me and Roy in the locker room and says, listen, they do this thing. It's illegal. I says, Coach, the Blair ride? He goes, yeah, you got to watch. I go, Coach, I got it. Don't worry. I'm all over it. I've been refereeing Blair a long time. I understand. But Vinny, you got to make sure. I go, Coach, I got it. Flow Wrestling was there. First bout of the night. I think it was Mark Ray. Throws in the Blair ride. The arm came up about too
Jesus.
high. He threw his opponent on his back right in front of the St. Paris Graham coach, right in front of the Flow Wrestling camera.
Yeah.
And I slapped that mat pin and he goes, that's the move!
Oh, dude. Yeah, so that's the venue. That's the venue.
Now, on the high school level scene, there ain't nothing like going to the pit at Peaburg.
Yeah.
The old pit.
The old pit.
Yeah, yeah.
There's nothing.
Do you
like
remember that one, Brian?
Never
yeah.
experienced it.
Yeah.
Oh my
mean,
God.
Me neither. Me
I've
neither.
heard.
He said
Me neither.
3 feet from the
I've
mat.
heard,
They were
Justin,
on the
but I've
mat.
never
Yeah, me
experienced
neither.
it.
There was not one of the most knowledgeable fan base in New Jersey is Peaburg.
Yeah.
They know their stuff. They're very knowledgeable, and it was a special place to referee.
Yeah.
It got so loud, the gym was moving.
Yeah.
That's how much noise and
I've
pounding.
I've
of
heard
the stands.
stories.
I've never been involved in anything like that in my life.
But my best experiences, and all four of us here have experienced it. There was nothing better than team groups in Tom's River.
Yeah.
There was nothing better.
Yeah, it was a cool environment.
That was
man.
cool.
When you had all those group matches going on,
Yeah.
and
Format.
It was a
oh,
cool,
it was
cool
the
yeah.
best.
A cool-
And the fact that we got away from it, and I know
Yeah.
they're at Rutgers now and they're trying to do a better job. It's just that feel being over there in Tom's River.
Yeah, the gym
where
was set
everybody
up for it. It was very intimate. You were on top
It
of
was.
it.
That was the most.
It was.
Every year I looked forward to going to those team group championships. They were the best.
I was always a dual meet guy. I enjoyed dual meets
Yeah.
more than state tournament stuff and sectional stuff. I always like dual meets. When you get a hot dual meet, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I feel
They're
like
fun.
there's got to
They're
be a
fun.
preference.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
When it goes down to the last bout and they're winning by 5,
Yeah.
and it's an even bout, and your kid pins to win. There's
Yeah.
nothing. Come on, there's
Yeah.
nothing like that.
Yeah,
No, I
when
agree.
you don't really look at the clock, like the scoreboard. Every once in a while, you do take a peek up there,
Oh yeah.
and you're like, "Oh wow,
Yeah, we got
this is
a duel.
this is a
Yeah.
lot.
You know when
this is
the
a lot
crowd-
closer than I thought
And
it
the
was.
crowd's
You don't
emotion
know,
tells
you know.
too, the score.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, big dual meets are awesome, man.
Yeah.
They're the
There's
best.
There's nothing
And it's good that the season kind of transitions a little bit too. You almost wrap up all the big dual meet stuff, and then as a coach, you can almost flip the switch and get it ready for postseason individual stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as an official, it's probably quite similar. We
It
got
is.
a lot of this big dual stuff done. We're closing out in that chapter, and
Yep.
here we go, off to the races
Yes,
in
exactly.
districts, regions, states, and Atlantic City. So that's just great stuff, man. I got something for you too. So what about there's 14 weight classes in high school, right? The frames of the kids or the weight classes of the kids obviously provides a different style match. The bigger guys are a little bit more hard hand fighting, slower. The lighter weights usually, create more scrambles, high scoring matches, stuff like that. Do you have a preference on really what type of match you like better?
I
Or
have
you
a
just,
question for you.
I would love it.
No,
All right.
Send it,
And
brother.
you.
Sure.
Do you expect a referee to call stalling the same at 106 compared to the heavyweight match?
Me personally, no.
Yes.
No, not in high school.
Why?
It's just different styles of kids. It's just
But
different.
the stalling rules.
I understand that, and I wouldn't be against it happening if it was consistent throughout the duel for sure.
Just so you know, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, it's hard to though. I mean, it's
my rebuttal to that was the rule book doesn't change for
no,
weight
I
class.
understand that.
And that's
That's like the
original.
that's
Yeah.
like the strike zone changing for a righty and a
I was
lefty.
just gonna say this
right.
could be connected to so many different
Exactly.
things that we do.
Yeah.
But if you called stalling
Well, you might stall people out
at
of matches
106, the
at
same
the
at
heavyweight.
heavyweight,
yes,
you
yeah.
would stall
Yeah.
guys at.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good.
So
it's a
back
great
to weight
question.
classes, which I love scrambles.
I knew he wanted to avoid this question.
Love scrambles. Love scrambles.
Yeah, they're fun, man.
So them wiry little guys that are scrambling,
They
rolling
scrap,
around, and they're
scrappy.
scrapping, they're rolling. To me, there's nothing better when you're, saying no control, no control. Meanwhile, you heard takedown from both sides of the gym,
Yeah.
Yeah.
42 times,
Yeah.
and if it was up to the gym, the score would be 22-21.
Yeah, of
and
course,
you look
man.
up there, and it's still 0-0 with no points scored. There's nothing
No
better
better
than
feeling.
that. Yeah.
No better-
Until they finally settles out, and you finally throw up that takedown.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, man. I mean,
there's
that's
nothing better. So I like scrambles.
I got you. I'm just curious. I mean, I think that's
I like challenges.
it's a topic, and that is a challenge. You know what I mean? Not that the upper weights can't provide them. I mean, in today's wrestling,
Right.
these kids are so good at the high level, man, despite their
But
size.
there's a difference.
But there is a
We
difference.
can't compare 106, 113, 120
Yeah.
to 215 in heavyweight.
So how are you going to call stalling? Is the bottom line.
You have to be, I'm more lenient.
Consistent.
We're-
Consistent.
We don't agree on this, so to say.
Yeah, we'll never agree on it.
No, I
Because
get it, man.
I think it's a lot harder to ref a heavyweight match because they do stall.
I look at it too, like when Vinny officiated, the rules weren't as like they are now.
Yes,
So at the college level, we got the drop down count, right?
Yeah, that's
it's
cool.
It's just
We
you
talked-
know it's coming.
We were talking
So
about that.
It makes it where it is more consistent because the way the rule is written at the college level.
Yeah.
With the drop down and so on and so forth. To me with the backouts, I mean, the backouts were in the NCAA game before going to high
Easiest
school.
call to make.
Yeah.
Guy backs out, you hit him.
I just
Yeah.
look at now between the two trains of thought between when Vinny was at his height.
No, I get
and
what you're
now
saying.
I think wrestling's changed a little bit. That's
Yeah,
all.
just-
no disrespect to you. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
take any
no,
disrespect.
it evolves.
I
Everything
just look like
evolves.
it now. The way the rules are written, it should be called more consistently because it's easier to call because they now pinpoint it what we're exactly looking for when to make a stall call.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that we were talking about it, Brian and I.
Wish they had to drop down.
It'd be so- it'd be-
I think
it's-
as a coach, that would be something
such
we
a-
would be on board
dry.
for, right?
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
just
it makes
cut
it
and dry,
easier.
man.
We don't have to
Stalling
yell.
is so controversial.
How many times have you guys heard
Take
people
that
yelling from the
controversy out.
stands? Oh, that's 8
Right?
seconds,
Yeah,
9
8
seconds,
seconds,
whatever
10
it is.
seconds, yeah. Or you hear them counting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another one that we had talked about, briefly between each other was, what about at the state tournament? How do we feel about the high school level having video review at a certain point in the state tournament, maybe, or maybe the whole tournament. You know, there are some calls, let's face it, in those moments, why the NCAA has it, that you have to make in the heat of the moment that unfortunately are going to determine who gets their arm raised or who doesn't.
I have a different feeling on that.
Okay.
Because I don't think NJSA would ever do video.
Yeah.
Because
I just wanted your personal opinion.
Well, it would have to open up for all the
every
sports,
sport.
right?
Yeah.
And I don't see it ever happening. But I'll tell you what could happen. I would not be opposed to having 3 evaluators, the high-profile evaluators, not do it for the entire tournament.
Agreed.
But say semis and finals.
Agreed.
Blood round, maybe. You know, stuff like that. To say, as that call is made, if there's a controversial call, they meet together within 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and say what they have.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because not many calls are blown by a ref on the sideline. Do you agree, Gary?
Yeah, agree.
It's a lot easier to
can
ref
all call it
from
sitting
the
on the
bench,
couch.
Yeah,
correct,
of course.
than it is in the heat of the match.
Of course, man.
So you get 3 stud officials that are all retired, so there's no axe to grind.
Yeah.
Make the call. If there's a brick thrown, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, whatever it would be. That
Almost like
process.
freestyle. You have you have certain officials at the table,
Correct.
right? So somebody to confirm that call.
That would work.
Yeah, that's a cool idea.
a good idea.
So I get to experience it at the NCAA level, and I think it's one of the best tools that should be put into every sport. Being able to go back and look at that.
Yeah.
At the college level, they have independent reviewers. Somebody that's just paid there to
Yeah. Go
stay at the
up.
tournament,
Castle does
Yeah.
that.
and they throw it. They'll
NCAA.
throw it up like
I
so at the NCAA's. They throw it up to a guy. There's 4 dudes up there, and they get the call.
I
They
love that,
review
man.
it,
I
and
mean-
then they send us back down to the call with the phone. I think it's one of the best things. Even when we get to look at it, there is no independent reviewer. Even if I'm able to go back and see the call and either confirm it or take it off the board, to me it just takes the questions out of it. I would love for it to be implemented into high school sports.
No, I know it's not as easy.
I know a few
easier
years
said
ago
than
they
done.
piloted a program. I think they did it at the high school for football in New Jersey. I don't think it ever got to anywhere, but they did do a pilot program. I think it would be an unbelievable thing, but then I don't think the state will ever do it because of the cost involved.
Yeah, of course.
You know?
I mean, I think what Vinny originally said about it would open it up for all sports.
Yep.
Not to take it away from any
would never
sport,
happen.
but it was just it's just too much, a lot in the process of doing it. I do think that sidebar that you said as far as having maybe 3 guys helping with specific
Not
rounds.
referees.
Yeah, I think
specific
that's- I think
rounds
that's
in
a
the
great
tournament.
idea.
And
Independent
not-
reviewer.
Yeah, just those moments are. I mean, they're
And not
crucial,
mat
man.
judges. Now, you guys are young. Years ago,
I wish I was.
there were mat judges. A referee would ref the match. You'd have 2 officials sit on one side of each side of the mat. If an official stood up, they were sitting. Excuse me. They were sitting down on the mat. If an official stood up, it created a conference between them. That I don't like, because now you have officials making
Perception.
calls against
Yeah.
other
Yeah,
officials.
yeah.
Bad perception.
Bad perception.
Yeah.
To have evaluators that are there make the call.
Yeah, for that purpose. That's
Correct.
why they're that's
That's why-
their job.
I like it.
Yeah, that's a
And
cool
they're
topic.
very capable.
It's a great question, Justin. It really
Yeah,
is.
I mean,
That's-
this is stuff that Brian and I talk about, all season long, all year long. Wrestling has always been a gigantic part of our lives when we're little. And as coaches who are passionate about what you do, I mean, you always have these reflection periods. Sometimes they happen in the middle of the match or the middle of the season. Sometimes they happen after. Just talking about this day with you guys and the opportunity to be sitting down, just thought it was a good idea to try and figure out if you saw it that similar way. And I think that's awesome, man. It's good
you
stuff.
guys know. I mean, we put so much time in the wrestling room with these kids. And the kids are spilling their heart and soul. We want to know that it's right.
They deserve it.
Right, and you guys want to get it
deserve it.
right too. But
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
see it one way and you see it another way, but there's 2 other people there,
Yeah.
or 3 other people there that say, "Listen, this is how we saw it." As long as it gets, we're all on the
To
same
me, it
page at
makes
the end
it
of the
more
day.
fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
Instead of
that's
just trusting the judgment of one official.
and that's the goal, right?
That's the
Yeah.
goal.
And I look at it the way technology is now. There should be a way for them to figure it out, even if it's just putting a Apple iPod right there, and one person's recording each match, and then you're able to go back and
Yeah, man.
It shouldn't be that expensive, that hard to be able to do.
Yeah. It's definitely a cool thing to ponder back and
well,
forth.
I mean, going back to your point before, right? Coaches review in their head, or they go back and they look at the iPad and they say, "Listen, you got the call right."
Yeah.
That diffuses the situation
does.
where I'm not going to walk off a mat and be
Well,
like,
that's all time.
"God, I
Yeah.
hate this guy" or whatever.
Yeah.
Just if we can see it live or we have other people to confirm it, it kind of diffuses the situation.
Sometimes you get those calls too, and I hate referring to them, and you guys are going to probably know exactly what I'm talking about. They say there's 50-50 calls. 50% say it's a takedown, 50% say it
course.
wasn't. And there are some really tight calls. that can go either way.
Of course, man.
and that's that whole
Such a fine line.
It's nice to be able to go look at them, and even like without in a coach's challenge, it's nice at the NCAA level. You know what? I'm stopping this. I want to go look at it.
Yeah,
I want to take.
I'm curious.
I want to make sure
know.
I got it right.
I want to know the truth
I want to
behind
make sure
it.
I didn't miss something, and that's so good to have, because then the perception is you're really making that effort, that conscious effort, to give these kids that work hard, to give the coaches that work hard. You're giving them their just desserts.
Yeah. I think that's a great answer, guys, man. I think that's like a thing that, obviously we can continue to talk about with our coaching pals, but that's something that maybe the officials can talk about.
Well, the coaches are the one are going to be able to spearhead something like that.
Yeah, we try.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian's involved in some of those conversations or does the best he can to get involved in some of those conversations. But,
Yeah.
It's good to know, though, for as coaches that, the officials are on the same page.
yeah. I mean,
Right?
in reality of it, it makes their job
Absolutely.
Makes it
I think
easier.
we all know that, but having that
easier,
conversation.
but it
We're
makes
not
it more
adversaries.
authentic.
It does.
Like
We're on the same team.
yeah.
You're coaching. We're
100% agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're coaching.
Yeah. And that's where we started off this conversation. Going back to it, it's just that we may be coaching and you may be officiating, but we are on the same. Our product is wrestling. This is the bottom line.
Yep.
Exactly.
And on the
100%.
product,
Same product.
we want to get this product the best we can, the fair, the cleanest version of it. And I think that's just a cool thing to have at that tournament, because that tournament is just so badass, man. And there's so much high
tournament's
level,
Yeah, there's some hot
intense
stuff that goes on,
wrestling
man.
going
Yeah.
on. And
Yeah, I don't even think we're talking about something that's like you don't need it at the holiday tournament necessarily.
no,
Yeah,
no.
But at the state level,
Even
where
the
you
region
season's
final.
over.
Yeah,
Season's
of course.
over. Yeah, like season's over or season continues.
Yeah.
Those type of moments. you
Yeah.
know? Districts, regions, states, guys. I mean, for these kids, our time is long gone. Don't get me wrong, but you have certain kids that I know that I can, it's names right now where this is everything to them, man.
Correct.
Oh,
I mean, this is
and there's
this,
money at stake, right?
Yeah,
because
now in today's world,
education,
Today's world,
and
yeah.
Today's world, it's
NIL,
crazy,
and
man, yeah.
there's money involved.
Yeah, and these kids care, man. I mean, trying to convince a kid to forget about it, make peace, and move forward is it's one of the most challenging things in coaching, but it's also obviously goes hand in hand, and as far as being one of the most rewarding things once that time runs its course and
I'm digging these questions.
they're back to getting wrestling.
Come on, give us a tough one.
Pete and Doug are definitely gone. This is
Yeah, they're gonna
We
stay
like
on
you guys
vacation.
much
I think
better.
they're gonna stay on
Yeah,
vacation.
Yeah, we like to go
send them on a permanent vacation. My uncle's in waste management. I got an uncle in waste
They're
management.
gonna stay on vacation, man. What do you got, Brian? You got anything else, buddy? What do you got, man?
I guess we can go with this one here. I think it's a good one to kind of wrap it up with.
They're throwing darts now.
What's one rule you guys wish the fans understood better?
We spoke about this at
Yeah.
previous podcast. Returning the wrestler to the mat when you're behind
It's a great
and you're standing up.
Yeah.
People think that you have to bring them to the mat in 5 seconds was the old
Right.
rule.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
rule. Yeah.
But it's just make an attempt.
Mm-hmm.
And the fans, for the most part, don't understand what that means, make an attempt.
Yeah.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
try a sweep, you can try a kickback, anything that shows an attempt, you're allowed to be standing still. And I don't think a lot of
Yeah.
not knowledgeable
You're gonna hear
fans
people
know.
Yeah,
count
no,
from
that's
the stands.
you're absolutely accurate. When did that time, like the second, disappear? Because that
about
was a
15 years.
that
a
was a
long
thing,
time.
right? Was it
I
that
think it was
long
5
ago?
second.
5 second. It
It
was a
Yes,
thing.
you had
Yeah.
5 seconds to
to
make an attempt.
actually make.
To
No,
make
I don't
an
think it was an
attempt.
attempt. I actually think it was a return.
Was
Wasn't
it?
it?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
I
I didn't
remember that
officiate
was
in
a
that
thing.
era.
I remember that was a thing for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, the mat return, it goes back to that drop into a single. I just think that that's a rule that can get implemented at the high school level.
With the
that
drop.
would cause such a better for you as officials, for us as coaches.
It's cut and dry.
It's
yeah,
cut-
it's
You
cut
know,
and dry. It's
you know what's coming.
exactly.
Yeah.
And you can drill it in practice. We
Yep.
can train these
Yes.
things. Like,
Well, it
it's-
gives us something to coach our kids on.
Exactly.
Right. Hey, you got X amount of seconds instead of saying like,
Yeah.
listen, you're going to try to mat return them. There's no, we could tell them a certain time, but if there's a count, that
Yeah.
makes it a lot easier
Exactly.
for
at least when you're
everybody
on the
involved.
single, I mean, it's it's cut and dry.
I think another situation is definitely we're supposed to get into us with another podcast tonight. I think near fall is just not understood by 99% of the wrestling population, like even coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to threat, but
No.
no one understands the 45-degree.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody
listen,
thinks
when
it's
we see a
90.
guy
Yeah.
towards his back, we
Exactly.
want back points.
Yeah,
We
of
want
course.
back-
Yeah,
Count 'em,
This.
count 'em.
When you
Count
do
'em.
this,
Yeah, count 'em.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
on and off and they want
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, we want the points.
I think that's just
But that's
one that
probably a really
it
good
is,
point by
it
you.
is, yeah. You'll get guys that are on their back, and I'm like, they're 8 inches off their back, and then
Yeah.
I got to coach them. And no back points at all. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, 4 inches, and then I'll say 4 inches, and then they'll go 4 inches? What,
Yeah, what are you even talking about?
What are you talking about?
Yeah. I'm trying to find back points here,
Yeah.
man. Let's get back to the back points.
But I think that's one of them.
Yeah, I agree. That actually is that's a really good point because I see that just in tournaments when I'm just coaching, and I see that happen so often. That's one of the main things you hear other than stalling.
Yeah.
Is
Stalling,
you know,
your fall.
count them.
Yep, count them.
Count them.
It's not
Yeah,
stalling
count
your
them.
fault. It's stalling,
Stalling, yeah.
stalling,
Stalling, yeah.
stalling.
Yeah, stalling's a tough call. I mean,
No, it's not tough. It's impossible because here's
Yeah.
the problem that we have. It's impossible to get everyone on the same page.
so are you
Yeah.
the bottom stalling, top stalling? So because the states
Well,
are different,
top
right?
stalling
PA
in our
hammers
state
on top.
is like for us as coaches.
Drive you nuts?
It's it's a little frustrating because
Yeah.
I mean, there's a different interpretation at the college level, correct?
There is.
Right, because they
course.
can ride.
They can ride.
So
yeah.
for us to get some of our middle level and lower level guys to understand when to get out to the side and not,
Yeah.
they get in some trouble there.
All as a coach, and if I was a coach, all right, guy on bottom, he's flat on his belly. Guy on top is parallel on top. Who's getting called?
Are you asking us?
Yeah.
Top
If he's
guy.
parallel, top guy.
The guy on the bottom, I mentioned this before too, can be dead. And
Yeah.
the top guy is stalling.
Yeah, if he's sitting on
He
top
could
of the
be
hips.
dead on the bottom.
Yeah, but I feel like.
But look,
Is that me?
that's me.
Oh, all right, buddy.
You want to turn it?
Just do me a favor.
Yeah, I got
just,
you.
Just press the button. Yeah. Look,
Yeah, I'm
this is
listening.
all that has to happen.
I'm listening.
Can't call the top guy anymore. That's it. That's it.
yeah.
You don't got to throw hands into it. This is what you need. Look. Now the bottom guy's stolen. That's what's taught to the referees.
Yeah.
Here's a
Is that
spin-off
is that
question.
what's taught to
That's what's
referees?
taught.
Here's a spin-off question for you two.
That's tough. That's a tough thing.
How many times do you agree when a stall call is called? Whether it's for your guy or against your guy? Do you agree a lot or not
Yeah,
agree?
I do. I think, I mean, at least this year for the most part. I mean, there are some guys, and I don't mean this to say anything too wrong about the referees, but some guys are struggling in that department for
Right.
sure, in my opinion.
Recognizing it?
In my opinion.
Recognizing
First to
it?
say,
Just, yeah, in general.
The
right.
consistency
The
of it,
consistency.
yeah.
What call gets a referee in trouble?
Stalling.
The stall call.
Yeah. But I mean, I can agree. If they're banging my kid and he's not doing anything, or he's in
Justin,
a
a lot of
situation,
referees are not going to call it at all because they don't want to get booed.
avoid the problem. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah,
so
but
they
that's
won't call stalling at all.
that's a tough.
And that's hard for me because
Yeah.
we want to be consistent with it.
Yeah. I mean,
But a lot of guys are not calling it.
just out the gate, not to cut you off, Brian. I just think out the gate, from a coaching perspective, an official or a referee who is assertive and vocal, and he does a great job of showing you that I got this. This is my area. You stay in your area. You coach hard. If you're gonna yell, that's fine with me. But I'm gonna control the things that are going on in here as far as the calls. I already respect that guy so much more. But it's the guys that are standoffish or kind of their body language shows like, I don't know
You're not calling it.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing right now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right.
Then
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you're-
Perception is
you're,
everything.
You're hurting this right here.
I love when we get the pre-match speech and they say, "Listen, you back out of bounds, you're going to get hit with stalling," and then actually do it.
Yeah.
And it's both ways because that's how we're going to
Makes
coach
it
our
easy,
kids,
yes,
right?
cool.
You get to the line, you got to circle in, you got to shoot them out.
Cut and dry things are better for all
Yeah.
of us. Like,
100%.
together.
The referee,
Pre-meet's the best.
correct. The referee
Yeah, you can lay down the foundation.
who masters stalling moves right to the top.
Yeah.
Not many guys can do it.
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
But the referee
that's a
who
great
can
point.
master it and has a handle on calling the top guy as consistently as the bottom guy,
Yeah.
that guy moves right to the top.
Yeah. It kind of like takes himself above faster.
He's just
faster
separating
track.
himself from the
faster
pack.
track.
There's
yeah.
a big gigantic pack.
Did
Yeah.
you see a little less stalling on the
Oh,
mat this year
a
because
lot
of the
less.
because of the score changes?
Correct.
It did, yeah.
Right,
because
more
of-
more
lot
people
less
cutting
stalling.
people.
Yeah.
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 And the tech falls faster. I mean, you're
Yeah,
getting
that
tech
was the-
falls in the first.
Yeah, that's the
first
craziest
minute
part to
30
me.
now. you
And
know?
that's why I originally asked you guys if the 15 should be, you know,
Widened?
Yeah, but I get where you're coming from, so I completely understand it.
we want-
There wasn't a wrong answer. I was just curious
It's
if
not
that's
to make the tournament faster.
No.
That's not the idea.
No.
To me, that would be like
But when a one
changing the
wrestles a
3-point
16
line to a 4-point line because now they
Yeah.
hit 70% of their, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah, no,
Just-
I get it.
Just to give it on a
I get
spin,
it.
spin
I'm
off
just
of
pretty
it.
much going off of, the parents on my team have had enough. I'm just kidding, man.
careful.
Yeah, I'm kidding, man.
Now I wonder if like making a major decision from 8 to 10
Yeah, something like
might
that.
be a little bit, but
But I'm gonna go ahead and say that you guys don't agree with that either, right?
8 to 10?
Yeah.
No.
Nah, I don't think so either.
Saw the writing on the wall there,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
But it was all right, buddy.
But again, all the rule changes are pretty much done by coaches.
Yeah.
It's a coaches panel, at least at the NCAA level. Like, the officials are
Is that
they
Well,
only,
ours go through the.
they only put like one guy
NFHS,
on the committee.
right? Or,
And
But
that's
we
an
can
official.
modify
We
the
can, yeah,
NFHS rules.
yeah.
Gary Kessel's our state rules interpreter.
Yeah.
And I forget what rule he implemented a couple
We did the
years ago.
drop down on the
Yeah, I
on
think
the
that should be
ultimate.
one.
As a test.
Oh,
In
right.
the ultimate.
We did it as a test. And Gary can deviate from the NFHS
Yeah, if we wanted to make a
rules if he
4-point
feels it's
takedown in the
necessary.
state of New Jersey, we could if we wanted to.
Yeah.
You know,
I like the new point system. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm all about it. I think it just, like you said, it creates more action. I mean, you can get a takedown and backs, and dude, you're up pretty significantly.
Yeah.
You know, and the good kids aren't going to shut down and not wrestle there. They're going to stay on the gas and they're going to score more points. Points are fun, man.
I love
Points
those
are
matches.
fun.
I
Points
love
are
those
fun.
matches where a
Enjoyable.
kid does get taken down and thrown to his back, and he's losing,
battles back.
and he's losing 7-0.
Yeah, man.
And battles back to win.
Awesome
That's
stuff.
The best, man.
Those are the kids you want as coaches on your
what-
team,
Those are the
man. We
dudes
love that, man.
Those are the dudes that lose in the first round and battle all the way back. to
Yeah,
take third.
man. The
I'll take
mental
them
toughness.
guys.
The mental
I'll
toughness.
hire them for my job anytime.
Exactly. That's the coolest thing about the sport, right? It supposedly teaches this resilience thing
is.
out the gate. But if you can understand that concept of wrestling, you're doing a pretty good job of understanding how life works, my man. So,
If you wrestled in life, right? We all kind of understand. There's a different mentality, a different thinking. you know?
I mean, I want to agree with that, you know, and I don't want it to come off, and I think we all the same
No,
way.
it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a difference of having someone hold your mat or hold your face down a mat, not letting you get up, and you have to find a way out of that position. And then guess what? If you want to win this
Humble.
match, buddy, you better go take him down and do
I
the
have a
same thing.
construction business.
It's a
I only
difference.
hire former wrestlers.
Yeah, man. I feel like that's common with people.
I've heard
sometimes, man.
CEOs of major companies tell me if they have two candidates, one wrestled, one didn't.
Yeah.
They're going 100% with the wrestler.
Just work ethic, I guess. I mean,
Discipline.
maybe biased, but
Respect.
I agree.
There's so many aspects.
Listen, our audience is wrestling people, so we can get away with
Yeah,
it.
no, I agree. 100% agree. Hire wrestlers. No, man, this is great. I mean, I enjoyed this conversation. I knew coming into it that this was going to be a cool topic
it's
to talk
awesome.
about.
You guys are good
You know,
guys.
we want to know from your
The referee,
perspective, yeah,
right,
like
exactly.
pretty much, you know, how to continue to get better as a coach. I mean, whether it's easy to say or not, the bottom line is this conversation is going to help Brian and I become better coaches.
This doesn't have to stop at this level,
Yeah,
right?
man.
So if you guys want to go talk to coaches and get together with a coaches officials clinic
Yeah.
where you guys
Well,
are teaching
at
us,
Rutgers, I
we're
have-
teaching
Yeah,
you
yeah,
guys.
yeah, he's got it.
Let's spin off and
You
do
have to
something.
go because
Yeah.
we go
but we
over
don't-
a lot of
But
things
we don't
that-
have them
How do we
teaching
get
us
more
stuff.
officials that are? I know this is the last question I got.
Sure.
You two are obviously extremely passionate, and I agree that probably a large percentage of referees are passionate about what they do. The reality of it is the same way in life. Some guys are just trying to make some extra cash and do it. How do you continue to recruit or get more officials? Because I'm sure that's a challenge that you've battled. I'm sure that's a challenge that a lot of us battle.
We're
Because,
shorthanded.
Yeah.
We're
short-handed.
We're short officials.
So how does that change? Because I mean,
I think that just comes down with this
just waves.
with
or-
yourself, like, you know, your self-preservation, like
Yeah.
what you as a person are. Like, I look at it like if you're getting paid to do a job, which we are as officials,
Yeah.
we're considered professionals.
Yeah.
Right?
That's just an old school mindset that I love,
we
brother. I
get,
just don't
we
know.
get paid to do the job,
Yeah,
and
do
we're,
your job.
we're considered professionals. And if you're getting paid for it, be a professional.
Yeah, amen.
You know,
I agree.
yeah.
It's tough,
The
man.
NJSAA gave a little injection for new officials 3 years ago and 2 years ago. They gave a $300 stipend to join and pass the class,
If you pass, you get the $300.
Yeah, that's cool.
which was good.
That's
and
a nice
it did
little-
inject about what?
It gave us a good amount. We still need more.
Yeah, I mean, I wish that like it's hard if you're not going to be off work by 2:00 or you're not a teacher.
Yeah.
To coach high school wrestling is it's not the easiest thing to get into your schedule, especially as you age, right? So I wish more wrestlers that competed at even just A level, high school, college. If you're not going to coach, why not ref?
I
Like,
think-
keep the sport going, man.
I think
like
the coaches can help us in that, right? Because you guys should be talking to your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Saying that if you don't want to wrestle in
Yeah.
college,
That's a good point,
you
Gary.
don't.
That's a
this
great
is your
point, man.
opportunity to be able
Call
to
me
get in.
out,
I
man.
actually put it in my pre-meets. Now, again, I don't
Call
do a
me
lot
out.
of high school stuff, but I do talk in both teams. I talk about it in a pre-meet. Hey, we're looking for officials. If you're interested, coaches have my information. They know how to get a hold
Yeah.
of me. I can help you guys become officials if you wish to do that. But
Yeah.
I think coaches could help us more with that.
Yeah, that's
there's-
actually a great
There's a certain
point.
kid that you know that's probably not going to wrestle in college, right? But he still might want to stay
yeah, he
involved in the
doesn't get
sport,
don't
make
work
some
till
extra
4:30,
money.
5 o'clock. Like
You
let's
know,
start refing.
I think that would be more for a coach's thing to be able to help us with that. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a good idea.
Do you guys do, not you personally, but does the JV ref do the girls wrestling as well? Is there all the refs we
Yeah,
have?
but
When
answer
I assign 100 schools independent from the state stuff, and the referee I put on the mat for the girls JV and varsity is the same official.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just don't have the horses.
Have the horses in the race. Yeah.
There's not enough referees out there
And that's
to,
a nice payday.
to segregate
Yeah.
girls and boys.
Yeah,
Right.
of course.
There's just not enough officials out there.
Yeah, I mean, if you do three
260.
dual meets, I mean, I feel like that you crush it.
260.
Yeah.
On a Monday night, Tuesday
Yeah, it's
night,
a good
Wednesday
night.
night, 260.
Yeah, you do it a few days a week. Yeah.
Saturday,
Stacks up, man.
400 or 500.
Yeah.
Quad is 300. They throw a few J's in on you.
Yeah.
360. Tournament 500. It adds up.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Yeah.
not many referees do it for the money, to be totally
No,
fair.
I believe. I mean, listen.
Most referees do
Not
it
many coaches
because of
coach wrestling
passion.
for the money.
It's got to be
No,
hard to do for
exactly.
the
Yeah.
I
money,
wouldn't do
right?
it for free.
I mean,
I would do it for
I
free,
wouldn't
too.
do it for free.
yeah.
I would.
I wouldn't do it for
I would
free.
referee
I mean,
for
but
free. I enjoy
If you
it.
break down the minutes that you do what you do and what we do,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, forget about it.
yeah,
You guys are.
we're in and
Yeah.
out.
I was
It's
on that
irrelevant.
level
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. It's silly.
That's
Like
pennies.
when you start to think like
Pennies
that, you need
per
to tell
hour.
yourself immediately, stop. Just stop right here.
Yeah.
You love what you do, and this is why you do it.
True.
But
True.
if you do start to think about that type of stuff, yeah, you're probably gonna find your way working yourself
Out
out
fast.
of doing it pretty
Correct.
quick. You know what I mean? But this is awesome, guys. I mean, dude, I appreciate it. I appreciate Pete and Doug, even though I really do hope they stay on vacation for several
A
weeks.
few segments.
But I appreciate
There's
the
a cement
opportunity.
pour coming up.
Appreciate the opportunity to come in here and talk to you guys, and especially having Brian with me. You know, college teammate, guy that
can't beat that.
guy that I did a lot of hard wrestling with, grinding in the walls. You know, it's a cool sport, man.
Yeah.
And then we lived after college into a house. We all were teachers and coaches.
Oh, yeah.
When I was coaching at Cranford, we all lived together, still up there. That was fun times, man.
It's refreshing to see the young passion that you could feel from you guys.
Yeah, man.
And I think that's an awesome thing.
Yeah.
It's a camaraderie.
We appreciate you guys.
It's a mutual thing, though, man. You know, it's a mutual thing. It's important that we have. Yeah, I think a lot of the conversation, which is great, man. In the end of the day, we're gonna leave here and we're both gonna go back to coaching.
Yep.
You're gonna sign. You're gonna ref, and don't get me wrong, the season will come around, and there's gonna be moments where Brian's ready to beat up a referee, and I'm telling him.
I always
I'm
call
and
Vinny
I'm
before
telling
I
him-
do
I'm
that.
telling him not to.
Well, hopefully,
But this was great.
hopefully something like this tries to quell that us versus them thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
agreed, man.
Let's all get into it.
And I
together
never
and
felt that
understand
way.
it.
And I don't know about Brian. I never felt that way. There are certain refs maybe that, you know, hey, bud, it's not really your show, the kids'
Yeah.
show. But I never really felt that way about the refs. I just felt like a lot of the consistency, like we talked about, is probably the most important thing. But I haven't had that bad of a season with it. And I only live.
Referees have gotten better.
Yeah, I have.
The rules have allowed for some of that to happen. I
Correct.
think, right?
And
It's taken a
training.
lot
That's
of
the
that
goal,
questioning
right? To
out.
make the
Training.
Training.
Yeah.
I'd have to give some kudos to us cadet supervisors. And
Absolutely.
each-
I was just going to say.
Absolutely.
pretty-
How many classes do you have now?
We do 15 classes.
They
Yeah,
used to
that's
do-
great.
They used to do
That's
8.
great, dude.
Now it's 15 classes.
15 classes.
Yeah, it's great.
And these dudes they're on it, man.
Yeah.
They're on their A game when they come in.
That's great.
You know.
That's what we want,
And
man.
we
I
have
mean,
some really good cadet supervisors in each chapter.
Yeah.
We get together. We have our weekly or monthly calls. Get everyone on the same page. I think the training part of it is awesome.
yeah. How did you get involved in the NCAA tournament?
So it was a bucket list of mine, like a New Year's resolution for about 7 or 8 years. And then finally, once my kids were old enough, I was like, okay, it's either pull the trigger now
Yeah.
or I'm not going to ever be
Yeah,
able to
because
do
you
it.
do the cadet thing as well.
I do that as well.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
once I pulled the trigger on it, forget about it. That skyrocketed fast.
Yeah. So
and-
what you said
know.
then, it is absolute passion.
Oh, it's
Oh,
passion.
100%.
Passion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's passion.
Referees eat,
Yeah.
drink, and
Yeah.
breathe wrestling.
It's cool, man. I don't know if I thought
differently.
about it like that before,
Don't think
but
they're just getting paid to be here and they're going home. They don't care. We love it.
My phone is getting blown off its hook from November to March.
Yeah.
My kids always laugh. It's wrestling season.
Yeah, I
You
feel like
know,
that's
20
how
calls a day. You know, we're getting, we talk about like, we all have a group of guys that we rely on as like our
Confidants.
our confidants that, our therapists, I like to call them.
Little support network.
I'm a therapist to like 30 different guys. They call me about
Yeah.
something, I talk them off the ledge, you know, and that's what we need to get through it. It's
yeah, of course. I
yeah,
mean,
you need
they're different aspects of our sport, but they're all similar.
Yeah,
know
I'm
what
sure
I
you
mean?
call
Of
certain
course,
guys
it's
to
part
get,
of it, right,
Yep.
man?
Yep.
The sport of wrestling connects us so much more.
I mean, that's the great part about wrestling is as it brings people together. But Vinny's great. I call him whenever I have a question, even if it's not a problem. Just hey, what do you think about this situation?
That's
Yeah.
good.
And being able to do that as a young coach growing up was
That pays
amazing.
dividends for
And
you.
Brian,
Absolutely.
your brother Eric, is one of my best evaluators.
Yeah.
He sends
Don't
an
doubt it.
evaluation every
Yeah.
match, every duel. He
Yeah.
sends me
Well,
an
you should
evaluation.
talk about that with coaches because that helps us.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of
Best
coaches give
coaches.
evaluations.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, like excuse me, in regions, like when we do our
In,
top
in
10.
anything, it
dual
don't
meets
mean
all
anything.
year long.
Yeah, It helps.
Quick,
It
short.
helps us.
Something short. Yeah, just
This
like it
referee
doesn't have to
tonight-
rip a guy.
No.
You know, like not for that purpose, but hey, this guy does a great job in this situation, or this guy was
I
fantastic,
want
or
this
whatever
guy
it
back
is.
again.
Yeah.
I like the way he officiated.
I like that. That's good stuff, man.
But that comes from the coaches.
Yeah.
That you guys would all have to get where to, maybe develop a form for them, an easy form.
I
You
already
fill it
have-
out.
yeah.
I'm sure you guys
Bing,
have
bang,
it.
boom.
Yeah.
That's something that I could be better with then, because I think it is important, man. I mean,
But I'll tell you what made
See what he
referees-
just said? It's something he can be better at. That's
Well,
that's
that's
what
the
it's all
coach's
about.
right.
He's
Exactly.
passionate
trying,
about
man.
it.
I'm trying,
He's
fighting for
passionate
my
about it.
life, man.
Yeah.
I
We're
think what
trying.
made referees much better was when the numbers were put on their back.
Yeah.
You're held accountable.
Yeah, it does. That's the answer.
to raise your
That's the
game.
answer,
That's
man.
true.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I
You
didn't
have
think
to
about
raise your
that.
game.
unfortunately,
How long
that's
has
a
that been
brutal
in?
part of life.
12 years.
Okay.
Has it only been 12? Yeah.
And I have 48 evaluators throughout the state. The referees don't know if they're being evaluated at that said match.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool, man. Really?
We won't
The
know till a few
evaluator's
days
not
later.
supposed to and introduce himself to you.
That's
He's
interesting.
hidden in the stands.
I like that role. Right. We should be.
And what that does, it raises
Yeah.
the ability of the official.
Yeah, man.
If you think you're being
Because you can't
watched,
take a night off either. Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
you
yeah.
can't take a night off.
Yeah, man.
And that's why it has gotten better, in my opinion, because of that. That helped out a lot.
And
Yeah.
if you do take a night off, you're going to find out.
Oh, you're going to know it.
You're going to know.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree with you. Say it's gotten better, whether it's because of multiple aspects. I do think that the reffing is getting on an upward
A
trend.
lot better.
A
Yeah.
upward trend. And everything comes in waves, man.
What
Everything
year
comes
did
in
you
waves.
graduate high school?
2006.
Yeah, there was a lot of problems back then, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
A lot of referee problems. There was a lot of guys who did it for the money back then.
Yeah.
Right, Gary?
I agree,
A
yeah.
lot of guys were in it,
That was my era of coaching,
to make a buck,
2006.
you know?
Yeah.
And there was no, with no numbers in your back, there's no way to
Well, I mean,
evaluate a guy.
yeah.
You don't even know who the guy is.
The word accountable,
Yeah.
he said it, and I
That's the
think
word.
that's one of the most powerful
Correct.
words.
You're
period,
accountable.
Yeah.
For whatever you're doing. So
That made a big difference.
I would have absolutely. It makes a big difference for anything we do, right?
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you put
And the
your
best part
name
is
on something, or
They don't know who's watching them.
Yeah, that's
There
a
could be
wild
one guy
west.
there, there could be two guys there.
I bet you most coaches don't know that.
Most
No,
coaches
I
don't
didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
There's 48
And I'm-
evaluators.
and
It's not on. It's not on every duel, guys. There's certain
Yeah,
duels.
no,
Oh,
I
sure.
believe it, but
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't necessarily know that part of it. All right, so I guess
your area,
What you got?
Charlie D
yeah,
is my lead for the short.
yeah, I know him. Yeah,
Charlie
man.
D.
Listen, you got a really good chapter.
I like the
You
short
as Mark
refs, man.
Sherman.
Yeah, they do
But
a good
there's a
job.
lot.
He's the
There's a
lead for
couple
that
guys that are just
Yeah, he doesn't he? He does
Yeah.
the cadets too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important, man.
Yeah.
Help us recruit officials.
Yeah, I can try. Absolutely. I mean, you made that point of. You guys made some great points tonight, but we can definitely help as far as trying to get more officials. I mean, like I said, I just think it's something that should be pushed more. If you're not coaching but you love wrestling,
Why wouldn't you want to
still love it, man. You can still love it in an aspect.
There's
and you
really
can-
no advertising
And you can.
for it.
I know it's tough.
Yeah.
I was a mediocre wrestler.
Yeah.
Just being straight honest, mediocre wrestler.
Yeah.
And
Well, you won a few matches on
and
JV
we're,
your senior
and we're
year.
Yeah, that's
able
okay,
was
man.
able
Everyone
to go
counts. All the
was
wins
able
count.
to take the
All the wins count.
take the career into a different avenue of it. Like
Yeah.
Vinny
is
wrestled
the
JV
best.
when he was a senior.
Yeah, but now you relit the fire, guys. You're more passionate now with it from the ref
Oh, no
standpoint.
doubt. No
So
doubt.
that's cool, though. That's still, this goes back to the same thing that I've been saying, man, but it's still for the sport of wrestling, right? So
Correct.
I think the best officials are the ones that experienced all facet, wrestled, coached, then put
I
the
agree.
Yeah.
put the whistle.
Now, the
in.
That's
first
cool.
name I mentioned tonight, Ernie Zuber.
Mm-hmm.
Did 10, 12 state finals. Excuse me. Never wrestled a day in his life. Played college football for
That's
Georgia
impressive.
Southern, I think it was. Fullback. Never wrestled a day in his life.
That's
and that
impressive.
guy can call a match.
it's pretty tough, man. I like that.
That's kind of hard to
Yeah.
do.
This isn't one of
that's
them
tough.
sports.
Let me
that
tell you
can do
something.
that.
That's not
Yeah.
easy.
It's impressive. I respect that.
Correct. That's impressive. And he was, in my opinion, the best ref I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's awesome. You guys got anything else for us, man? I mean, this was awesome, like I said. Love it. Awesome.
Yeah,
Great
a lot
stuff.
of fun.
Great
A lot of
stuff,
fun.
man.
Great. I hope we do it again. Maybe we can flip the script. We ask questions to you guys.
I love that.
I'm
Love
open
that.
to it, man.
Yeah,
I
that'd
think
be awesome.
that the dialogue and the communication factor on this stuff is important. Have a little fun doing it, and this is just a great opportunity and an area to showcase it. So
And again, for everybody that's watching, we're in August, and we're this excited about
yeah,
wrestling.
it's kind of shot, man.
This
Don't
is-
tell people that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
Attention, wrestling fans, parents, and future state champs. This is your podcast. We're shining a light on the toughest high school New Jersey wrestlers and coaches who are building warriors one takedown at a time. Follow us, like, and subscribe on your favorite platform. Doesn't cost you anything, but it goes a long way to support the show. Don't just watch the journey, be part of it.